The slap echoed across the chamber like a gunshot wrapped in silk, sharp and humiliating, and for 2 seconds every species present thought they had witnessed the breaking of a man. Then his skull was gone. Not Marcus Hale's, the Zerethian soldier's. One instant a sneer, the next a collapsing body twitching headless in neon blood. And the human marine stood in chains, calm as a desert sunrise. Guess he forgot. Marcus drawled, his Arizona accent dry as dust. Humans flinched the wrong way. Gasps rippled through the interstellar tribunal. The banners of 27 empires trembled above, illuminated by sterile white suns woven into the ceiling. Alien envoys shrieked in tongues that translated poorly into human ears. Sorcery, impossible, violation. Soldiers raised plasma rifles, but none dared fire. For what if this creature killed thought itself? Evelyn Cross, anthropologist, supposed to interpret human culture for the tribunal, pressed her hands to her mouth to hide a laugh that sounded far too much like terror. The chamber had been designed as theater. Humanity's stubborn resistance was to be mocked, its marine paraded in chains, its spirit broken before the galaxy. Instead, the Zerethian guard lay headless, and Marcus Hale, bruised but unbowed, had somehow rewritten the script with a single instinct. The presiding admiral, Vithek, rose to his full 7 feet. Plates of obsidian armor clinked as he pointed a claw. "Contain him." Dozens of soldiers surged forward, boots pounding. Marcus did not move. His wrists, rubbed raw from shackles, still bled. He tilted his head at Evelyn. "Any chance they'll go easy?" She adjusted her cracked glasses, voice shaking with both wit and despair. "Define easy. Without killing me." "Then no." The first soldier lunged. Marcus pivoted, the chain links snapping like brittle twigs as if rusted from within. He swung the broken shackle like a whip, striking a plasma rifle clean from the alien's grip. Gasps turned to screams. The tribunal dissolved into chaos. Envoys stampeded for exits, robes flying. A translator drone was crushed under panicked hooves. The air filled with the smell of ozone and alien pheromones. Evelyn ducked low, hissing, "Do you ever do what they expect?" Marcus flashed a bloody grin. "Wouldn't be American if I did." They ran. Not because Marcus was afraid, but because spectacle had become battlefield, and survival was now their only protest. They cut through corridors of polished crystal deeper into the alien citadel. Everywhere screens lit up, replaying the slap, the headless guard, the smirk. Some slowed the footage frame by frame. Others looped Marcus's sarcastic line in captions. Across the Capitol, beings murmured in awe. The humans kill with humor. The humans corrode chains with sweat. The humans are madness given flesh. Evelyn kept pace, gasping. "They're broadcasting you like some reality TV star." "Great," Marcus wheezed. "Always wanted to be famous for homicide." "You're trending harder than that cat video from Europa." He blinked. "What cat video?" "Doesn't matter. Point is they're terrified." They ducked into a maintenance passage, the noise of pursuit muffled behind steel walls. Marcus leaned against the paneling, his breaths ragged. Evelyn saw the tremor in his hands, the shadow in his eyes, the ghosts of Chicago smoldering behind his silence. He carried entire cities like stones in his chest. "You're bleeding," she whispered. He looked at his wrist. "It'll clot." "No, Marcus, you're bleeding everywhere. Not just your skin." His gaze hardened. "Don't analyze me, document. Just keep me moving." The hunt intensified. Zerethian drones prowled streets above. Soldiers sealed checkpoints, and rumors spread faster than fire. Marcus Hale was no longer a prisoner. He was a symbol, and symbols cannot be contained. In the Undercity, among merchants and outcasts, whispers grew. "They say he had but the guard's skull clean off." "No." He stared until the skull dissolved. "I heard he used duct tape." "Duct tape?" Evelyn muttered as they slipped through a market full of neon spores and hissing vapors. Marcus smirked. Universal problem solver. Aliens leaned from stalls, staring with reverence. An insectoid clicked. "Is it true your kind worship beasts that ignore you?" Evelyn blinked. You mean cats? Yes, cats. Beings who bow to none. Are humans like them? Marcus shrugged. Sometimes worse. The merchant recoiled in awe, muttering prayers. Admiral Vithek's fury, meanwhile, boiled across broadcasts. His metallic voice thundered. This human is chaos. His existence defies order. He must be broken publicly, so that no world mistakes insolence for strength. And so the admiral declared a new trial, not in courtroom, but Colosseum. Marcus Hale would face 100 soldiers before billions of viewers. Victory was impossible. That was the point. Humanity's myth would end in blood. When soldiers finally cornered them, Evelyn whispered, "We can't win." Marcus only smiled, exhausted but unshaken. Not about winning, about showing we won't kneel. The Colosseum roared. Thousands in the stands, billions tuned in. Banners flickered with Vithek's sneer. In the center, Marcus stood alone, sand underfoot, armor stripped. Evelyn was forced into a dais, shackled among translators, her voice trembling in the wind. "Don't you dare die, Marcus." The gates opened. A tide of armored soldiers poured in. Marcus knelt, pressed his hand into the dirt, and whispered names Evelyn could not hear. Chicago, Baghdad, all the dead who haunted him. He drew strength from ashes. The charge began. Plasma fires seared the sand. Marcus moved, not like a demigod, like a man with nothing left to lose. He swung broken chains like flails, used enemy weight against them, jammed duct tape into rifle vents. He fought with grit, leverage, humor. A soldier fell, choking. Another reeled from a shattered visor. Marcus spat blood, laughing. "We thought Florida Man was an isolated case. He is not," in 12 languages. Some with fear, some with awe. One by one, soldiers dropped, until only Marcus stood, breathing fire, bloodied but alive. Evelyn's eyes glistened. She whispered, "Still here." He turned, voice hoarse, "Still here." The Colosseum fell silent. Vithek's fury was palpable, his claws slicing the air. Yet no one moved. Fear had shifted into something more dangerous, respect. For humanity, once dismissed as primitive, had revealed its secret. Not technology, not sorcery, but refusal. Chains rust, skulls crack, empires tremble. And now, reader, I leave you with this. Strength is not the absence of fear, nor the weight of armor, nor the certainty of victory. Strength is the quiet choice to rise, bloody and laughing, when the universe expects you to kneel. They thought the Marine was spectacle. 2 seconds later, he was legend. And legends, remember this, cannot be chained. They called it a prison, but Marcus thought it looked more like an interstellar hotel that had lost its sense of humor. Gleaming walls, perfumed air, polite lighting. 5 stars, he muttered, if you ignore the death squads. The guard who shoved him inside did not laugh. Evelyn, shackled to the adjoining bench, did, but hers was the laugh of someone seconds away from cracking. The cell was meant to humiliate. No chains now, only transparency, glass walls, cameras, 100 lenses broadcasting the beast at rest. Marcus stretched his shoulders, ignoring the stares. Did they ever stop watching? Evelyn tilted her head toward the ceiling, where drones buzzed. Think of it like a reality TV show. Only instead of prize money, you get executed. Great, he said, smirking. Hope they edit out the part where I look tired. The laughter stuck in her throat. For all his bravado, Marcus had circles under his eyes like bruises. Each silence between jokes threatened to reveal the abyss inside him. The dead cities, the missed saves, the weight of command he couldn't set down. She wanted to reach for his hand. She didn't. Instead, she said, "You realize they're making you a symbol, right? I'm just a grunt who head-butt too hard." "No," she said firmly. "You're proof the humans don't break the way they expect." Above them, Admiral Vithek paced like a storm in armor. His voice boomed across the council chamber. This animal corrupts order. He turns mockery into myth. Already the lower species whisper of him, as if he were destiny itself. If we do not shatter humanity now, their infection spreads. The council wavered. Some envoys argued for extermination, others for restraint. One insectoid delegate rasped, "The human fights like the beast they worship, cats. Defiant. Impossible to leash." The chamber rippled with uneasy laughter. Vithek slammed a claw. "Enough. He will fight again. Not in courtroom, not in streets. In the Colosseum, where all shall see him bleed. 100 soldiers, live broadcast. His death will cauterize the wound." None objected, not out of agreement, but out of fear. When Evelyn told Marcus of the decision, his only response was a shrug. "Figures. They think numbers solve everything. You'll be outnumbered 100-1. Good odds." She slammed her hand against the glass. "Stop pretending this is nothing." His gaze softened, just for heartbeat. "Doc, if I treat it like something, I'll break. And I can't afford that. Not yet." He leaned closer. "Listen, what matters isn't me walking out. What matters is that they see a human who doesn't kneel. If that's all I leave behind, it's enough." Her throat tightened. "You're more than a symbol." Not today. The Colosseum burned with light. Thousands crowded into tiered stands, their roars translated into 100 pitches. Billions more watched through holoscreens. Banners declared, "The human will fall." Vithek presided high above, smug as if victory were already carved. Evelyn was forced into the translator's dais, shackled again, made witness. She searched the arena floor until she found Marcus, alone, bare-chested, dust rising around his boots. He looked small against the expanse, but there was something in his stance, in the calm of his shoulders, that unsettled even the watching crowd. The gates opened. A tide of armored soldiers spilled forth, shields and rifles gleaming. 100 against 1. The roar of the masses shook the walls. Evelyn whispered to no one, "Please don't die." Marcus knelt, pressed his palm into the sand, whispered names the galaxy didn't know: Chicago, Baghdad, Kabul, all the ghosts. Then he rose. The charge came. Plasma fire lit the air like fireworks. Marcus moved. He was no acrobat, no polished gladiator. He was blunt, desperate human. He used chains as flails, sand as blinding dust, duct tape stolen from his belt to jam vents of rifles. He fought dirty, clever, unrelenting. He laughed even as blood streamed down his face. Thought Florida Man was a myth. He snarled, head-butting a soldier into the dirt. Guess again. The crowd shrieked, some with terror, some with awe. Whispers raced. He bleeds and does not fall. He fights and does not end. 10 soldiers dropped, then 20, then 50. Marcus staggered, chest heaving, but his fist still rose. Each strike was defiance. Each breath, survival. At last, silence. The last soldier crumpled. Marcus stood alone, swaying, surrounded by bodies. Evelyn's tears cut lines through her grime. He turned toward her, lips cracked, voice raw. "Still here." She mouthed back, "Still here." The Colosseum froze. Admiral Vithek rose in fury. "This proves nothing. He is brute flesh, nothing more. End him now." Yet the council did not move. Whispers rippled like tidewater. The insectoid delegate clicked. "He cannot be broken. Perhaps he should not be." Others nodded. Fear shifting toward something far more dangerous: reverence. Vithek raged. His claws screeched against stone. But he saw it. The infection had spread. The human was no longer prisoner, no longer spectacle. He was symbol. Back in a holding cell, Evelyn tended Marcus's wounds with trembling hands. He winced at every touch, but didn't pull away. For once, the silence between them wasn't heavy. "You're going to kill yourself this way," she whispered. "Better me than dignity." Her fingers lingered on his hand. "You're allowed to want more than dignity, Marcus." He met her gaze. For the first time, the mask slipped. Pain, longing, weariness, all unguarded. But he only said, "Not today." Outside, the galaxy trembled. Some species called for humanity's extermination. Others whispered of alliance. On backwater worlds, rebels painted Marcus's face on walls. On trading routes, smugglers passed around recordings of his laugh mid-battle. Vithek plotted new ways to crush the myth, but he knew the truth. Skulls can be crushed. Chains can rust. But legends, legend spread. And you, reader, remember this. Power is not measured in numbers, nor fear, nor the cages built to contain us. Power is the stubborn choice to rise bloodied, laughing, mocked, and yet unbroken. They threw 100 soldiers against a single Marine. He should have fallen. Instead, he stood. And in that standing, he taught the galaxy the oldest human lesson, that dignity, once claimed, can never be surrendered. Execution or sainthood. Funny how often humanity blurs the line. Marcus muttered as the guards dragged him into the council chamber, wrists bound by chains that already looked afraid of him. Evelyn walked behind, her face pale but resolute, every step a rebellion of its own. Above them loomed banners of 27 empires, once proud, now quivering under the weight of rumor. Billions watched across the stars. The chamber was hushed, not with order, but with dread. The memory of the Colosseum still lingered, the lone Marine standing amid 100 corpses, laughing through blood. Some called it proof of savagery. Others whispered it was proof of something worse, indomitable will. Admiral Vithek seized the silence, his armor glinting like midnight steel. "Look upon him," he roared. "Chaos given form. He defiles law, mocks honor, infects order with insolence. Humanity is plague, and like plague, it must be erased." His words rolled across the hall, amplified by translation drones. Yet Marcus only smirked, the corner of his mouth twitching with irreverence. "You keep calling us plague. Funny thing, plagues usually win. They don't negotiate. They spread." A ripple passed through the chamber. Whispers, soft as dust storms, grew in strength. Some envoys leaned forward, intrigued. Others recoiled, as if even listening risked contagion. Evelyn raised her chin, voice steady though her heart raced. "You wanted a trial. Then let there be one. Not of this man, but of the idea he represents." Vithek's eyes flared, but the council, hesitant, curious, allowed her words to hang. A trial of ideas, a battle of symbols. That night, in the dim confines of their cell, Evelyn spoke what weighed heaviest. "They'll kill you tomorrow." Marcus sat against the wall, bruises flowering across his chest, eyes shadowed. "Probably, but I'll go out swinging. Better story that way." She grabbed his hand, desperate. "I don't care about the story. I care about you." The words slipped free before she could stop them, fragile as glass. He froze. For the first time since Chicago burned, his armor cracked, leaving only silence. Finally, he whispered, "Doc, if I let myself want that, I won't survive tomorrow." Her throat tightened. She understood. Survival meant walls. And yet, as she held his hand in both of hers, she vowed not to let his humanity rust away. Dawn came. The council chamber thrummed with anticipation, every envoy waiting for the spectacle of human defiance. Vithek prepared his final strike, public execution, streamed to every corner of the galaxy. Marcus was brought forward. He stood tall, bloodied but unbowed. Evelyn, forced again into the dais, searched his face for some trace of fear. She found none. Vithek declared sentence, "By decree of this council, the human Marcus Hale shall die, and with him, the delusion of Earth's defiance." Marcus chuckled. "Bad news, Admiral. Delusion spreads faster than you think." Then, with the universe watching, he stepped forward, not toward the executioner, but toward the council itself. Guards moved to stop him, yet he did not resist, only raised his voice loud enough to shake rafters. "You think we fight because we're strong? Wrong. We fight because we're weak, because every city we lose carves another scar, because kneeling feels worse than dying. You think you can scare us with death? We live with death every damn day." His words rippled outward, translated into 100 tongues, carried into hearts. Evelyn saw it, the shift in the chamber, fear giving way to recognition. Across species, they understood because pain was universal. Vithek, desperate, bellowed, "Lies! Humanity is chaos, not kinship." Marcus turned to him, voice dropping to a growl. "Chaos, Admiral? No, we're the mirror. And maybe you're afraid you'll see yourself in it." The chamber erupted. Half the envoys demanded immediate release. Others shouted for execution. The council splintered before billions of watching eyes. Vithek raised his claws, screaming for silence, but his voice was drowned by argument. In the chaos, Evelyn's shackles were forgotten. She slipped free, rushing to Marcus's side. "You're changing them," she whispered. He shook his head. "Not me. Us. Just showing them what we are." Vithek saw it, their hands clasped, the symbol of connection more dangerous than any weapon. His fury boiled over. With a roar, he drew his blade and charged. The strike came fast, too fast for the guards to stop. Marcus shoved Evelyn behind him, raising his shackled wrists to catch the blow. Metal screeched. Sparks flared. The chain snapped, but the blade glanced away. Vithek staggered off balance. Marcus moved like instinct. He seized the Admiral's arm, twisted, and slammed him into the floor with the weight of every city that had burned. The chamber gasped. Vithek, humiliated, roared and lunged again, but this time guards surged forward, not to protect him, but to restrain him. The council had seen enough. The verdict came not from Vithek, but from the fractured voices of the council itself. Humanity was not to be executed, nor enslaved. It was to be recognized, an envoy people, dangerous yet undeniable. Marcus and Evelyn were released, not as prisoners, but as representatives. In the quiet after the storm, Evelyn sat beside Marcus on the transport home. He stared out at the stars, jaw clenched, silence heavy. She touched his hand. "You did it." "No," he said softly. "We did it. Or maybe they did it to themselves. All I did was refuse to kneel." Her smile trembled. "That's enough." For a moment, neither spoke. Outside, galaxies swirled in quiet majesty. Inside, the weight of survival pressed against them both. Finally, Marcus whispered, almost to himself, "Funny. I came here chained. I'm leaving free. And somehow that feels heavier than the chains ever did." So listen, reader, dignity is not in victory, nor in the numbers that stand beside you. It is in the stubborn heartbeat that refuses silence, in the laughter drawn through blood, in the hand that reaches for another even when tomorrow may never come. They dragged a Marine before the galaxy to be broken. Instead, he became mirror, symbol, myth. Remember this lesson well. Chains will rust, empires will fall, but the human spirit, once defiant, is the one contagion the universe will never cure.